Picture this, a recording studio somewhere far, far away.
Welcome, Watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's the 29th of September. I think we're probably going to go with the coupe, and we'll go from there, because there's so many different cars. I mean, you get 4 to start with, yes, but when you've actually gone through some of the game, as you can see there, we've only got sort of the tournament there, but as you progress through, you will get more cars unlocked, and you can also change the colour of them, so that's quite nice. So we're going to look at this from a graphical point of view. I immediately like this because it reminds me of Outrun. I mean, which sort of rear view car game, had to say car game there, reminds you more of Outrun than this kind of thing. So Lotus Turbo Challenge, that kind of game, and this kind of adds to it. Now, this could be... You could be forgiven to think this was a Need for Speed game. Now, originally, the developers actually joked around saying that they wanted to do an entry in the Need for Speed series, but they ended up doing their own games. And thank God they did, because the Burnout series is actually quite good fun. Now, this is the one that's very tame. This is the sort of more race-orientated one. But you do get the Burnout bar, which is quite nice as well, but you don't get to use it as much as in the sequels, which I will be covering very soon. And like I said, just drop a comment if you'd like to see more Burnout this week, or whether you'd like to wait for me to do it for next week, and we'll move on to Burnout 2. I might just get it all sorted and prepped and ready anyway. You just let me know when you want me to drop it. If I don't hear anything in the next 2 days, then I will just do one anyway. But there you go. So, I mean, it's really nice and smooth, isn't it? I mean, you know, the PlayStation 2 was a great machine, I've got to say. And let's come on, PS2 owners, hands up in the comments. Who had a PlayStation 2? Or to one who didn't have a PlayStation 2? Well, the main rival was the Xbox, wasn't it, for the time? And I don't know, I've always preferred PlayStation over Xbox. It's just my personal preference. And I've just always enjoyed the controllers more on the PlayStation than on the Xbox. Although the newer Xbox controllers are a lot nicer to use. The original Xbox ones, you needed the hands of the Incredible Hulk to be able to hold them properly. But yeah, let's go over some of the nice little features here. You can see when you need to take a right or a left turn, your car actually indicates. Now, you don't have to do anything to do that. It does it itself, which is good really, because my indicating skills in this game would be non-existent. So how do you build up your Burnout bar? Well, that's fairly simple. You can do a majority of things. You can finish a lap without taking any damage. You can head into oncoming traffic, and you can get yourself so close to a car that it classes itself as a near miss, and you can see your Burnout bar in the bottom left right there. Timer up in the top left hand corner. Time remaining in the middle in the big red lettering. There you've got your score, your lap, and your position, with your speed down in the bottom right, which is great. Now, I like to play racing games from this perspective. I know there's a lot of you out there that might like to do it from inside the cockpit or inside the actual car itself, but I like to see the car, because you know they've gone to the trouble of actually doing the models. You might as well actually see the car that you're driving in. Now, the only way this game will penalise you is if you actually hit something, which will cost you seconds on the clock. But it's quite entertaining nonetheless. Now, they did build on this feature in the following games, so like Burnout 2, oh there you go, so I've rear-ended that truck. I've cost 980 worth of damage there. That's quite hefty. How the hell have I still got a car? But yes, every time you do a crash, it will cost you precious time, and it gives the other cars a chance to catch up and overtake you. You're up against, as you can see there, you're up against 4 of the cars, or 3 of the cars, because the 4th one is you. But you can, if you do crash, you can try and, like that. That was actually one of the other drivers in the pickup truck there. So if you can engineer it properly, you can actually get you can actually cause them to crash. So it kind of delays them as well. There are times where crashes just seem to be unavoidable, and that is like just what you've seen there. hit a jump, like a bump in the road, and then I just leapt into another car, which was great driving. Oh look, here's Mr. Cheeky, third place, trying to. There you go. He's just rear-ended that car, so that's him off the grid for a few seconds. Now it'll take him a while. Now I've just collided with the van. Now you can see that there's not a lot of damage on the cars, but that gets rectified in the further burnouts of the series. And I think Burnout Paradise on the PS3 was probably my favourite of them all. But there are so many to go through on the PS2, and I hope that I'll be doing some more PlayStation 2 in the near future anyway, because it's a great machine, and there's such a library of games that you guys maybe haven't seen yet. I know there's got quite a lot that I haven't seen yet, but there's also quite a lot that I have. So we're going to go through the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 libraries. We'll get as much as we can done over the coming months, and if you've got a favourite PlayStation 2 game, of course, let me know, because I'd be more than willing to have a look and see where you get your enjoyment from with these games, because everybody's different, you know. So let me know in the comments, what is your favourite PlayStation 2 game, or what was your favourite PlayStation 2 game? What was the game that you kept putting in every day and had to do? I'll tell you what one of mine was. One of mine was the WWE SmackDown series, because those games on the PlayStation 2 were immensely fun, and that's the key point for me. It doesn't matter what the game is, as long as it's got a decent fun factor to it, then I'm all for it. Now, sound and music on this game is really good, actually. The soundtrack gives you this impending sense of doom, which is great, because actually it gets your adrenaline going, because you've got to try and beat the clock on each lap to be able to qualify. Now, I think this one you only need to be second place, or third place, and I believe the next race is also the same, because they kept it quite basic for the first couple of rounds, and then they start to increase on it. But you can drive other cars. You've got the muscle car, which is actually quite hard to control, so there is a star rating on each of the cars, so you can see for yourselves which one you might want to start with. This is a coupe, and it's kind of, along with the souped up Mini, I think there's kind of the two cars that you'd want to start with. I just like this one because the aesthetics are better. But yeah, it's got a nice sense of speed to it as well. But you've got you've got the car noise, you've got the wheel screeching, you've got the slamming when you hit something. Everything's where it should be, and you even have the checkpoint guy. So I can't fault this, really. It's a very good game, very good indeed. Oh, I just clipped him then. Never mind. But there was actually a Burnout game where the idea was to actually get your car to slam into traffic and then see how much carnage you can do. I think that was Burnout Dominate. No, it wasn't Dominator. It was one of them anyway. We'll be covering that one. But fun games nonetheless. So Burnout 2 was a lot of fun. They introduced more sort of sports cars into that one. Then Burnout Revenge, I think. Burnout Dominator. Oh, there's so many. Burnout Revenge, I think I just said that. But yeah, lots of different Burnouts in the series, which I'm quite looking forward to getting through. I'd like to maybe have a look at some of the wrestling games as well, give you an insight into what I used to play a lot of, and just have some fun with it, really, because that's what the channel's all about. It's introducing you guys to games maybe you haven't seen before, and it's also certainly bringing these older games to a new generation. Because some of these games do stand the test of time, others not so much, but games like Burnout, you can't really go wrong with it, and it's a ton of fun as well. Absolutely. I do believe it's 2-player split screen as well, but I can't remember 100% on that. But if it is, then great, because you can race against your mates. But you know what I say, if you haven't got any mates to play with, well, you're Billy no mates. No. You can do time trials with each other, you can do circuits, see who can finish a lap the fastest, see who can actually clear a course the fastest. There are multiple ways you can do multiplayer without actually doing multiplayer. Holy hell, how did I miss that? Woo! Okay, so yeah, you can see the adrenaline keeps going, and finished. Awesome. So, really, really nice. Control-wise, there's not really a lot to learn. You've got rear view, which is done by the L1 button. Then you've got your accelerate, and you've got your brake, handbrake, and that's about it, really. So it's quite an easy game to pick up and learn, and I would recommend that you have a go. The other thing is that this is a game that you could just pick up at any age as well, because it's a racing game. There's no blood, guts or gore. It's very simple to just put into your PS2, load it up, and away you go. Now, it's not a frustrating game. I suppose it could, maybe you could say it's frustrating if you keep hitting things over and over again, which I'm surprised I actually haven't done yet. I'm normally really bad at these games, but I enjoy them nonetheless. But Burnout, the further Burnout series for me was much more entertaining, just due to the fact that you could actually slam into everything and not cost yourself too much unless it was a head-on collision, in which case you tended to be a little bit more screwed up with your car. But that was in the later series. But this is the one that started it all. So Criterion did a great job in this game, and I thoroughly recommend it. It's got a great replay value, just to the fact that you can collect cars. So once you've done the main tournament thing, you can unlock cars after a certain amount of races that you've done, and you can expand your garage, which is brilliant. So a lot of replay value, really. And then if you fancy having something a little bit more difficult, try one of the other car makes. The muscle car and the truck apparently are two of the hardest ones to maneuver. But let me know what you think is the hardest car to control in the game. Look at this guy. Yes, I'm going to scrape you. And in the further Burnout series, you also got points for grinding the guardrails. So there he goes. So yeah, absolutely gem of a game, and very easy to navigate the roads. Not a problem because there's no map to follow, so you ain't got to worry about that. I think Burnout Paradise had a huge map, and you did actually have to read it to be able to know where to go. But yeah, this game sort of foregoes that, which is nice. It's just a pure adrenaline-filled racing game with tons of fun included. So I would recommend thoroughly that you guys pick up a copy of this. It's cheap as chips these days. It's not a rare one, so if you've still got your PlayStation 2, get this into your PS2 console and give it a try. Invite some friends over and get those time trials underway. That was a silly place to drive, Mr. Van, really was. So I hope you've enjoyed the review today. Anyway, this is Burnout on the PlayStation 2. This has been the Retro Revival Show on the 29th of September. I can't believe we're at the end of the month already. It just seems like yesterday when we were saying it's the 1st of September. So you can see how quick time goes. But, you know, time stops no retro gamer. I will be back very soon with a brand new review. And as always, you keep it retro, and it's bye for now. Ta-da!
Incoming transmission.